Hello, girls and boys. Ready? Let's begin.
All right, welcome back to the Opportunity Podcast. My name is Andrew.
My name is Raj.
So, Raj, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about crypto, talk about some stocks, and how people are using social media to scam the newbies.
Honestly, oh, you're in crypto right now, right?
Yes.
I got a little bit of crypto, but I know you have more.
Yeah, I've been in Bitcoin for about a year and a half. Make Bitcoin $100,000, isn't it? Everybody's been waiting, but a little bit of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and I'm starting to play with the little altcoins now.
Oh, really?
Dogecoin, make that $1, please. I have too many.
Have you seen some of these guys on Instagram and all these guys really promoting some weird coins? I heard one of them was Ethereum Pro or Max or something.
Exactly.
Another one's a Safe Moon. Have you ever heard that one?
Yep, I've heard of Safe Moon.
Yeah, there's a lot of these weird.
It's like they mine them in their own backyard and they're like, hey, buy it. We'll make it $1. We'll make it $2.
But you've seen the ads they're pushing. They're getting celebrities. I heard Soldier Boy's promoting one of these coins, and Kim Kardashian came out promoting one of them.
Right.
And I've never in my life have taken financial advice from Kim Kardashian or Soldier Boy, and they're telling me to buy these weird coins, and I don't know. I feel like it's just it's a big bubble. I'm invested a little bit, but I'm just hedging my bets.
It's kind of like the internet in the late 90s.
I feel like everybody has a coin. Everybody's saying, "Oh, buy this," but the thing is, everybody's getting on paper rich from the stuff.
Right, and a lot of newbies are throwing in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
If you look at what happened with GameStop, AMC, where all the newbies were like, "Hey, let's go buy this stock. It looks like it's gonna hit the moon,
bro, to the moon,"
and all of a sudden it tanks." So.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I think a lot of these people they understand that maybe it's not the most ethical thing. Yeah, some of these are maybe scams, and I've even heard of some people who were like, "Yeah, obviously this is probably a Ponzi scheme or something, but as long as I'm on the ground floor, I'm okay. I'm gonna make money on this." And you have some guys just basically taking advantage of these dudes who are accepting the risk. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna start these discords and stuff. I'm gonna get all these people on board, being like, hey, yeah, obviously this is a scam, but we're gonna make money, And they're the ones who are losing the most money.
Exactly
that
right.
is just that's why.
No, the thing is these days everyone's an expert.
Oh
you buy a stock, it goes up $5. You're telling
your friends, stock
I'm an expert.
traders. Oh my god, all over YouTube and stuff. It's I can predict the market. I got my AI on the Yeah, there's some guys actually saying that they're like, hey, I programmed this computer to make every week 2% a return. I'm like, bro, if you could do that, if you can actually make 2% every single week. Throw in 50 grand and you're gonna be the richest person who's ever lived in a couple years. Okay, so why not do why sell a course? You know what they do? They say, oh, I have these robots, but I also have a course. Buy my course. Man, it's
don't get me wrong. They probably make a lot of money off the people that you know what, he looks like. You gotta look at people's track record. Just because you me, I've been in stock market for about 3 years. I've gotten progressively better, but by no means am I an expert. No means. No. All I know is, statistically, since the 30s, the stock market goes up 75% of the time.
What's that? I think it was Warren Buffett who said.
I think so.
When he was 13, if he just invested $114, it was his first investment. He's if I just put that into the S&P 500, put the dividend returns back into it, he's that would have made me rich.
Exactly.
And a lot of people want to get rich just as soon as possible. As soon as possible.
Yeah.
What was it who said if you just put in $50,000 or if you make $50,000 a year or whatever, you're eventually gonna be a millionaire.
Even if you put into Standard and Poor 500.
Yeah.
At 8 to 10%.
But nobody wants to wait 20 years. Everybody wants hey, let me get the quickest amount of money as fast as possible.
What a lot of people don't realize when you find out on the mainstream media and the news, hey, buy this stock, it's already too late.
Done. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's the people that put in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
That wake up the next morning.
What was it? I forgot who says this. I think it's a term or something. I think this is specifically for stocks, but it's you buy the speculation and then you sell the news or something.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. So it's people. I see people get scammed all the time, especially if you ever seen those big companies. I forgot the names, but. What are they called? The MLMs or multi-level marketing? Yeah.
It's not a pyramid scheme. I promise.
It's not a pyramid.
I promise, not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
You know what's really bad about that?
Yeah.
When I was in college, every random kid just walked up to me and said, "Hey,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a way for us to make money. Watch this 20-minute video. It's a team." I'm like, no.
It's like I get those. Have you ever get those? Like, yeah, I know people personally who message me on Facebook, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, haven't seen you in so long. I have this
Right.
opportunity for you."
Yeah.
And it's like a person I
Yep.
know in real life. Okay, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to hear this pitch again, like for the millionth time.
Exactly.
And it's like, what's the opportunity?
You have to watch this video.
You gotta watch this video.
Well,
You gotta
and
come to this
and here's the
conference.
thing, like, I don't want to be part of a team where I'm giving up so many hours of time to get just a small return.
Yeah.
If you know me and you want to give me some tips on how to invest in forex trading or cryptocurrency or whatever, one-on-one, perfect.
Yeah.
If you can't do one-on-one, not interested. I'm not gonna spend my time joining a team, flying here, doing that. It just doesn't make any
And
sense.
have you ever even seen those? Because like, listen, man, some of these places, like, you go to them, you're like, okay, let me just, see what it's about. Man, they're just trying to sell you on the idea of selling this idea to someone else. And it's just like,
Exactly.
how is this not, like, the most obvious scam in the world? Like, literally, you're trying to tell me the only way I can really make money on this is if I get other people to do this.
Exactly.
And then they have to do it. Like, come on. Like, seriously, come on.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But people fall for this all the time. I see people in Starbucks, like, just like trying to convince other people to do this.
Yeah. They have a good eye for kind of figuring out who's new to the game. Like,
Yeah,
hey, you know what? You
yeah.
might look like you want to invest in this. Here,
And they always get like young people, like
Yeah.
they get people like in college or just right out of high
Exactly.
school. They're like, hey, you need extra money. This is a great way. We're a team. We have all the resources. Come on, man. And then it's like, yeah, there you go.
I think it's the aspect of you kind of build your own team, and a
Yeah.
lot of people make that team into thinking like, oh, I own my own business. It's not really a business.
No.
You know, it's really not. I appreciate the effort. Just like, some people, and not to
Yeah.
knock anybody.
No,
I know
no,
a lot of people like start off like selling cupcakes, making T-shirts, and they're
Yeah.
like, I have a T-shirt business. Like, okay,
yeah.
let's talk. But I still have to go to my 9 to 5. I still have to do
Right.
this. It's more of a hobby.
Nobody. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I noticed this because like you work and I work, right?
Yeah.
Like, but we still do other stuff, outside
Exactly.
of work.
Mhm.
But like, people want to just like be like, okay, I'm gonna work on my business. Bro, you're not making $5. Okay, you're not making $5 a day. Like, get your finances in order first. Okay, be able to support your business before your business can support you.
Exactly.
Okay, because like, business is not easy. Okay,
It's
I know
just,
you're working on a lot of stuff. I'm working on
I
a lot of
know.
stuff, and I can tell you, like,
It's-
if I didn't
it's
have
hard.
a job
Yeah.
to support that extra
Oh,
stuff,
absolutely.
like I'd be broke right now. I would not be able to do anything.
Yeah, it's especially if you're selling a product.
Yeah,
You have to
it's
be
expensive. Yeah,
like me, like being in real estate, or you being in the tires.
yeah,
It's more of like a service.
No,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not as bad.
yeah.
But if you're selling like an actual like a globe or like a
Well,
brand,
it's
a lot more
Yeah.
footwork. Especially
Yeah.
if you have no idea what you're doing. You need the 9 to 5. You have to
you
have
have
that
to be
9
able
to
to
5.
like have that. Yeah, yeah.
So at least when you go to work, you know that you're gonna have some sort of income coming in. Some people completely say, I'm gonna throw that income out the door.
Yeah.
Unless your business is making just as much as your job
Yeah.
and some more,
Yeah,
don't put it. Do a double the work. You have
exactly.
to.
I mean, there's no other way. I mean,
Mm.
honestly, like the way I think about it, because like what I do is mostly like kind of like commission based, like sales.
Right.
So I have my base pay where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna. That's like what I'm living off. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like all I actually get to use, what I get to spend, my bills, everything. Whatever's extra
Right.
gets put into business, gets put into like investments, like that. That's what I'm actually gonna be using to actually make stuff happen.
What you should be doing if you have a business and a 9 to 5, you should be living way below your
Oh, yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Way below your means.
Yeah.
You should be saving your paycheck, investing it, and working on your business. Because the end goal that a lot of people should have is to have, like, not have your 9 to 5 and have multiple streams of
Yeah.
income. Because you don't want to be dependent on one. Like, I know, like, we both do stocks. You have your tire stuff and whatnot. And that's important. You don't want to depend on one. Because
No.
look at what happened with COVID. How many places
Oh
shut down?
yeah, all the time. Yeah.
How many people
Yeah.
don't want to work?
Yeah.
I've never
Oh no, people don't want to work at all. Like at
I've
all.
never seen any.
No.
Like, you go to McDonald's, like $500 sign-on bonus.
I seen that. Yeah. It's like,
I grew up seeing that on back of semi trucks, not at McDonald's. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. No, because for example, we need mechanics all the time, right? We need
Yeah.
like drivers all the time. Can't hire anybody. We had one guy come in for an interview, and we told him like we were offering him a pretty decent like amount of money. No, didn't want it. No, not for him. Yeah, he saw the amount of work, and he's
Right.
like, nah, not gonna do that. I'm like, bro, like literally, these people they rather would be at home without a job, making less money, but they're not working. You know, they're making a little bit less money, whether it's through welfare or whatever, but they're not working as hard. You know.
You know what's funny? You know who's making the most money right now?
Oh.
Banks. You know how many people are lined up to have a bank account so they can get their stimuluses? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I heard
Every
about that,
person that you know that didn't have a bank account has
Now-
a bank
now
account.
has a bank account, yeah.
And just like, yeah, we're gonna deposit $500. And the banks are like, sure, give us
Oh,
all
they're making
your
so
money.
much money. Yeah. Man. A lot of people have you seen, okay, so I know you're into real estate, like I'm not in that world at all. But banks are like I'm just recently because I'm looking at houses but I'm not like buying anything yet.
Right.
Just recently, I've seen prices kind of start normalizing. Like
A little bit.
They're starting to kind of come back to earth. Like, just recently. Well, like, do you know what's going on? Because I have no idea what's going on with all of that.
I don't want to say it's like the 2008 bubble. I don't want to.
But you kind of want to hint at you're hinting
Maybe.
at it? Oh, okay.
It's just weird. Like, prices were really, really down, and it just kind of skyrocketed. Just kind of like the stock market did, like 2-3 years ago, where it's actually overvalued. So naturally, little by little, if you bought, it's a good time to sell.
Oh, you mean like before?
Before you bought, before it went up, absolutely. So you're gonna cash out big.
Yeah.
If you bought a house for 120,000 and 30,
I saw houses around our place. They were like almost twice, 3 times what they should be. I'm like, geez, like I was like talking, maybe we should just sell. But it's like the question is like, where do you go to live now?
And it's an influx of people moving in from like surrounding areas, and I grew up where if you charge somebody like 10 years ago, if you charge somebody $500 for a 1-bedroom apartment, they're like, dang, that's expensive. Now there's people renting out attics for $700.
Jeez.
Attics.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So it's completely wild.
No. It's the same thing with cars right now. Like we buy cars and we fix them up, sell them. Man, prices right now. Oh, business, we can't even keep it in stock. Like, as soon as we get something, it's just out. And for premiums, not for like cheap prices or anything. And our location isn't even the best, but like our clientele, like they have money. And they will buy our stuff because if they go to like the dealerships, the big dealerships, they don't have the new inventory. They only got the trade-ins, right?
Right.
But everybody's charging a premium right now. So like they come to us, they're like, "How much is this?" And we're like, "Oh, it's 10,000."
Right.
They're not gonna say, "Oh, can you take 1,000 off?" Nobody bargains. Everybody's like, "Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal." Like literally in the last like 2-3 months, I've not had one person come into the shop and been like, "Oh, can you knock $1,000 down?" Not one. Nobody's talking about like any discounts or nothing. I could throw out a number just randomly, and I think most people will be like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good deal." Man, it's like,
I didn't realize that until we had just finished working on the 2 apartments, and the person I bought it from. I asked him because he's been a little bit more into real estate than I am. He's been doing it for a couple more years, and I asked him. I said, "What do you think I should rent it out for? These 2-bedroom apartments. The bedrooms aren't as big." He said, $650. He'll be pushing. I said, "Okay." So when we're done, I said, "You know what? When I bought it, I wrote down $750 on a piece of paper. Let's go put it up for $750. Gone. The next morning, nobody bargained. They're like, "Okay, we'll take it."
I don't know what. Do you think? Okay, so do you think it's because like everything else is like as expensive, or just people like they just have the money and they're just like, you know what? Because they've been saving all last year, so they kind of have some money in the bank to play with.
It might be
a little bit of both, maybe.
A little bit of both. Because it's expensive. Like people.
No, things are more expensive.
People aren't even complaining about gas as much as they used to a couple of years ago. Gas is almost $4.
Some places, even more,
And people aren't complaining about it.
I don't hear it much. I heard
There's
a little
more
bit.
people going on vacation now.
Yeah, I heard about this too. Oh man, no, but like I mean, in general, like just speaking right now, it's just really crazy. And like, okay, for example, so like I'm in a position right now where I have a little bit of money I can play with,
Right.
Like I'm not really like financially like struggling. I have a little bit in the bank. I have a little bit. I'm at this point right now where I kind of want to do something with my money because it's just kind of sitting there. So I was thinking about like putting it into cars and stuff, but I feel like that might be also like kind of a bubble. Like any minute now, new shipments are gonna come in, and all of a sudden like used car prices are just gonna plummet. And then like I know you're into real estate. I'm just not there yet. I'm still looking at properties. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know. And again, I hear all these like guys on TikTok and stuff. They're like, oh, what's that method you guys use? Burr or whatever.
Burr.
Yeah, they're all the time like burr. I'm like, I did the math. I'm like, you really have to like really hustle to make that method work.
Yeah, it's it's hard. It's kind of like a harsh reality when you get into real estate. You're
Yeah.
thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna go to my little
That's
bank.
easy, yeah.
Like, no,
Nah.
no, we're not giving you any money.
No.
Oh, you got more than one. It's not a single family. No, we don't deal with anything else. You'll get.
I don't even know how people make that method work. Like what can you even do? You can only do like what two
So
houses a year at
what
most?
I think, yeah. So what I think people do is they have some cash.
Yeah.
They buy the property outright. So the property's already in their name.
Okay.
So they'll rehab it and they'll rent it out. So after the property's in their name for about 12 months, assuming
And then what? They just go and refinance.
and they go cash out,
Yeah.
refinance. So they have a loan on that house.
Yeah.
They got cash, and then they do another one. So if you get a property, let's say somebody writes your property for $1 and say, hey, give me $1 for the property. A year later, you can go to the bank and say, hey, I own it. It's been a year. Cash me out. But some people like use the wholesaling method to get there. Some people may have like a trust, estate, whatever, or some people may have just straight cash and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy this property.
That's a good position to be in. But like, if you're just a regular, like for example, like if a regular guy, tries to do that method,
Right.
at most, like, if you're lucky, if you're really making like 2 deals a year. I did the
Yeah.
math, and I'm like, I just don't. I mean, wholesaling and stuff like that's separate. Like, yeah, if you do
Yeah.
like hard money, if you're doing like seller financing, that's
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Mhm.
But if you're going to the bank every single time you want to do like a real estate deal, I
Yeah.
just don't. I can't see myself doing that. I don't know.
I've heard you got to get like a mortgage broker. You got to get somebody that understands what you're doing in real estate
Yeah.
and has those connections. It's the connections that what matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go to big banks. They'll be like, we only deal with single family homes. You have to put 20% down. So.
Which I know. Listen, like there's people who do that. Okay, I know they're doing. I can't see myself doing
No,
that.
absolutely.
But anyway, but like so I have a lot of ideas, right? I'm working on like multiple projects. You know, I have like.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Yeah. I am actually at the point right now where I don't even know what to focus my time on right now because I have like all these like small projects I'm working on. I have one that actually I've been working on for like maybe a year now. I've not released it, and I'm like, it's getting to the point if I don't.
Are you gonna release it on the podcast?
Oh my god, I'd like to do that. I
Are
really
you?
like to. It's kind of like a personal brand, like like product business.
Right.
But I did the math, very stable. I can sustain that kind of business at least for a year without any like profits, like, no problem. And I'm not gonna talk about that one though, okay? But what I'm getting is like I was looking at other business ideas. I was like, well, what else could I be doing with my time and my money right now? Man, I'm not gonna use this idea because I did the math. I don't have this kind of money to get started. But I don't care if someone else takes this idea, so I'm gonna throw an idea out there. Okay, have you ever been to like parts of Europe or anything? Because there's like
I want to go.
there's a place in Germany that we were like having a layover or whatever. So I saw this like vending machine from Best Buy. And it was selling like beets, and it was selling like all kinds of. It's a vending machine, you know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You don't need like a person working there or anything. It's in in the airport,
Right.
and you can literally just buy like a computer right there on the spot. Just whatever, credit card or whatever it takes it. So I started doing some research. Man, there's places in Japan, in China, where an entire store, a convenience store, is just vending machines. It looks really nice, like really nice. They even have like vending machines with like hot food, coffee, like all this stuff.
Oh wow.
So you know what my idea was? My idea was, like, again, I'm not taking this idea because I did the math. It's pretty pricey. You got to put in like a decent amount in, but it's not a bad idea. I was saying like you could buy some of these vending machines here in the States. You know what I mean? Put customize it, like use the vinyl wrap them, make them look really nice. Go to like a mall. Malls are dying.
They are.
Most of the businesses in malls right now are just experiences. Like those are the ones that are actually kind of making money. Like barbershops. Build-A-Bear, yeah. Like those are ones who are actually making money. I've even seen like them open up some arcades around here.
Yeah.
Like in the mall. Like that used to, that died. That died a while ago, and now it's coming back. So I'm like, okay, you know what you could do? You can open up like a little like retail space. Throw in a few vending machines in it.
Right.
Make it like kid friendly. Like make it like there's candy. There's like whatever like toys and stuff like that. Really make it look nice. And that's it. You don't need no employees. You don't need nothing. Put it right next to a Build-A-Bear or a Lego store or whatever, and just check on once or twice a week on it, and that's it. You're good to go.
Did you know I went to a car wash? And once you come out the car wash, there's a spot where you can vacuum your car.
Yeah.
And I turn around, it's a vending machine. And I look in the vending machine, it's got all the little Black Tree and Febreze, and I'm like, I've never seen that before.
But other countries have been doing this
For years.
for years. And like I'm like, why has nobody done that here? I know what is that? Every Walgreens has them. The red boxes.
Yeah.
That's such a weird business idea. Like, hey, you can watch movies online, or you can go to a DVD vending machine. Like, who would have thought that was a good idea? I mean, last time I checked, I don't know if this is accurate right now, but they were profitable. I mean, you still see them
think so.
everywhere. Yeah. I don't understand how it works. I think the fees and everything, you actually make some money, but you know, you're around.
R.I.P. Blockbuster. Oh my God.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Blockbuster. Good old Netflix.
Yeah. But I think automation's where it's going at, you know,
Right.
all these places. And I think malls and stuff, like they're just you know, they're dying and they kind of need something. And anything that's novel like that, I think would really actually do well. I mean, there's other ideas I got, but again, like one vending machine is like just basic, nothing crazy about it. If you're getting it like kind of sort of used, maybe new, you're looking anywhere from as low as maybe like a couple $100, maybe like 700, as much as like 1,500. That's kind of like your like sweet spot, like with vending machines for one. And I was like, okay, well, how many would I need? Like, you need at least maybe like, you know, to make it good, make it nice, 10 to 15 minimum. That's the minimum, depending on the space. And then you gotta fill them. You gotta get all the stuff inside of them. You gotta wrap them. You gotta do all the tile work, and then you gotta worry about the rent of these places. So I was like,
yeah, unless you know,
because they take a percentage. I think they take a percentage.
I think so.
But I don't know how that
But
works.
if you're selling like laptops and beats, I mean,
well, I'm not saying that's what you would sell. I'm just saying like you put anything in a vending machine. You know, you can make it like, you know, like Five Below, whatever, those stores. Like think like, okay, a store with vending machines, but it's Five Below. You know, so it's like got all that like cool nifty kit stuff. I was like, you need a warehouse. Yeah, you need a warehouse to, you know, have all your inventory, you know, whenever the vending machines run out. But that's an idea. You know, someone out there with the money, they can go and start that, and I believe it'd be popular
if they want to.
Yeah, they want to.
That's
a free idea. That's a free idea.
You gotta get off your behind.
Yeah.
You gotta get off your behind.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to do that. It's a lot of work, and not a lot of people want to do that. No, not at all.
No, so I don't know if it's this generation, or like we were talking earlier, it's about that get rich quick. You know, no one wants to put in the work anymore.
Nobody wants to put in the work, man. Because like everybody sees people on Instagram like flexing, like, oh, I got a Lamborghini, I got this Rolex, and they're like, oh, you know, they're only 18. I'm like, listen, you really honestly believe an 18-year-old has a course out there that's gonna make you rich? Okay, is that honestly what you?
He's
believe?
borrowing his daddy's car. That's what it is. He's borrowing his daddy's car.
He's borrowing the credit cards.
Exactly. He's gonna get his behind beat when he gets home.
Oh my god.
And that's what I think. I know. I love Gary Vee.
Me too.
I've been seeing him for watching his podcast, YouTube, everything.
Yeah.
For 2-3 years. And one of the things he said, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. And somebody, you don't know what they went through. You don't know if they won the lottery or if their parents left them $1 million. You're wasting so much time worrying about somebody else that you're forgetting about yourself. And that's what, you know, people are like, well, I've been doing this for 3 years, but look at that guy who's doing it for 2 and he's better.
It's like, just
who
compare
cares?
it to yourself. Where are you? You know,
worry about yourself, and then that's what a lot of people just are so full of worrying about everyone else that they never get to work on themselves, and that's painful.
No, and especially these like drop shippers. If you've seen these guys, it's like, oh, you make money drop shipping. Listen, honestly, like to make a business successful, I truly believe it's about like customer lifetime, like, you know, value.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? I think Starbucks values each customer like at $8,000.
Yeah.
You're like you hear that number, you're like, I don't spend $8,000 at Starbucks. But it's like, no, Starbucks has already done the math. If you are a Starbucks user, you will eventually spend $8,000. You know, and like it doesn't take a lot of money. You know, it doesn't take a lot to be a millionaire. If you do the math, if you just focus on customer lifetime value, you will be a millionaire. Like you will make millions of dollars. Your business will be successful.
Absolutely.
But it's just about creating a product people actually want. And it's actually good. Because like, okay, you can sell me like, for example, a $20 like piece of crap, right?
Right.
Am I gonna go and buy it again from you? No, you lost me there. Yeah, you would have to sell like if I sold you something good for $20, you'd probably come back like maybe like 5-6 times, right? So I already made $100 off you. You know, I sold you something for 20, but you came back multiple times for the same thing. So
and some people don't mind paying. I think the whole stigma of, oh, it's too pricey is kind of non-existent anymore. People pay for value now.
Yeah, values. Yeah.
People really pay for value. I mean, I don't mind. I'll.
Because you can trick a person into buying something once. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's not gonna work forever. You know.
Like I'll pay an extra $10, $20, $30 for a pair of jeans or whatnot, as long as I know, like, hey, the color's not gonna fade, it's not gonna rip.
Yeah.
You know? And people, the stigma has to go. Like, hey, people don't want. People pay.
Yeah. If it's
People
valid,
pay
yeah. It's,
$10 at
yeah.
Starbucks for a little coffee.
You know, have you ever heard of that software? Is that HubSpot or what was it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a CRM program, but for commercial use. It's like something like $40,000 a year, right? And it's just software, right? So you tell this to a business person. You're like, hey, you want to use our software? It will do all this stuff for you. It'll track all your analytics, blah blah blah. They're like, oh man, it's $40,000 a year. That's crazy. I can't afford that. That's too expensive. And then you're like, okay, how much are you paying like your base employee? And they're like, oh, well, $40,000. So you're like, okay, you won't spend the $40,000
Right.
on a piece of software that will literally tell you exactly where every single dollar is going. You know, if someone's buying it or not buying, where you're losing them. But you're gonna spend that kind of money on your basic employee, your like entry level employee.
Yeah, but think how much money you're saving and how many employees you're getting rid of, as bad as it sounds, but replacing them with technology.
But you're optimizing. Okay, you're finding what the problem is, and you're actually making your business actually make money. You know, but people don't see it that way. They see the big, the 40,000. Oh my God, that's expensive.
A lot of people aren't math people.
No,
A lot of people don't get the numbers. You have to literally write it down for them and say, hey, look, the numbers make sense.
They do. Yeah.
They're more worried about the dollar bill than they are, how.
I think it's about like breaking it down for people. If you really break it down for someone, and you're like, listen, it's not as complicated as you think. It takes time. You can't like really go into this thinking like, okay, within the next 5 years, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Listen, a lot of people want to be millionaires the next month. They're like 1 month. Okay, I want to make money. But it's like, okay, you give yourself like reasonable goals for the next 5, 10, 15 years. You will do that, and you'll make way more. You really push yourself.
See, I don't know. This is a controversial topic, but do people still do a lot of stuff for money? Is it all about money? Like, is your end goal always money?
I think people they don't even know. I think a lot of people are like they want to have that prestige and show people like, oh, I got the Bentley, I got the house, I got the all this nice stuff.
Like, think about it. Like, does Elon Musk really care about being the richest
But
person in
here's
the
the thing.
world?
I think Elon Musk is one of those people who literally does not care
about money.
Yeah, I don't think he's just.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's people like that. Like, if you're doing it for the money, I feel like you're in it for the wrong reason.
Oh yeah.
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 The money will come if you're doing things the right way. The money's gonna come regardless. You know what I mean? If you're selling a product, selling a service, you have a standalone store, the money is gonna come. But if you're in it for the money, that's when you kind of. One thing I learned in college was, he said, one of the professors said, look, don't worry about how much money you're gonna make at the end. Look at everything else. That's what matters. That's what leads to that profit at the end of the piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something important. You gotta think about it. Are you in it for the money, or are you in it? But if you're in it for the money, I feel like your heart's not 100% in it. Some people do it for charity. Some people say, hey, you know what, I want to do it for my church or whatnot. But you got to know what your why is, why you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
I think people are just lost when it comes to that. They're like, because here's the thing. I think if you have money, you're thinking clearly. You're like, okay, now I can. Because I think that's the only disconnect from people who have money, people who don't have money.
Right.
If you don't have the money, all you're thinking about is, I want to get that money, Yeah. But if you have a little bit of the money, you're like, well, listen, for me to make more money, I need to actually provide value, for these people. So I think it's just like a mental mindset, depending on how you think about these things.
Yeah. And I think nowadays, like 2021, everyone has a business.
Oh yeah.
It's just like the widely used. I have a business. I have a company. I have an LLC. Okay, well, what do you do? How much money do you make?
Oh, I do the same thing X, Y, and Z does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's.
And it's like you don't realize until you're like, oh wow, this is hard.
Yeah. Honestly, not everybody should be an entrepreneur, and I know that's controversial. But if you have decent skills, like if you're good at sales,
sales,
you'd make more money doing that than you'd make as an entrepreneur. Because what's the average business owner make I think $70,000 or something like that. Yeah. There's a lot of jobs will make you more money and not as stressful.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing a lot of hats. You gotta be worried about a lot of different things, especially if you're a good entrepreneur. Yeah. It's just
it's one of those like, oh yeah, it's the new fancy word in town. I'm gonna just start calling myself that, and you're gonna have to give up a lot of stuff. You have to, unless you're lucky and you're like, hey, I'm gonna live my same lifestyle I have been, and I'll make it. But
I don't even understand why people, because everybody wants to show off, but what's wrong with driving a decent car, not expensive? Why do you have to wear the nicest clothes? What's wrong with just going to your local shop and just picking up some $5 jeans? That's a good deal.
No, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You and me both, our income has gotten progressively
As it should.
As it should. I still shop at Walmart. I have no shame saying it.
I don't buy expensive stuff either. Yeah.
Is it Forever 21 for men at the mall? I don't mind.
No.
I don't need the Nike $100 Nike logo on me
God.
to help people understand. Hey, I got a couple $dollars in my bank account. It's not about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's part of it is social media because you're looking like, oh wow, look at this guy, look at this girl. Yeah. And the other part is, hey, let me show off to my other friends. Yeah. What are you showing off for?
Yeah, especially like I've seen so many people who have like nice cars, but they can't afford to put gas in them.
Exactly.
They're like running a net seat.
It's worrying about what other people think. Yeah. Some people don't even care what their parents think about them. If you're doing good in life and your parents don't agree with what you're doing, forget it.
Honestly, you know who's really like, this is so weird. I forgot his name, but you know the guy who created Snapchat. I don't know if this is true, but apparently like he didn't move out of his parents' house until like Snapchat had like a valuation of a couple $1 billion.
Exactly.
And then he's like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna move out.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of people are just worried about, hey, how do I look? Do I smell good? As long as you take a shower and do the basics, and you're good. You don't have to get the $500 cologne. Nah. People can't smell the difference. They smell all the same. So a lot of people, you know, it's just showing off, and that's what kind of eats them alive. Yeah. Like, look at how many people play professional sports and they end up being bankrupt 5 years later.
Oh my God, yeah.
The numbers are crazy.
Yeah. I think what was Michael Jordan or not Michael Jordan? I forgot. Shaq. They spent like $1 million in like a weekend or something. And
after he got his first check, I think, and he was like, "Damn, I got myself a car, my mom a car, a Rolex," and I'm like, my agent's like, "You have no money left." It's like, oh my God, and that's a person who's making, 8-9 figures. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
No. Well, okay. So let's wrap this up. I think the lesson of today is: listen, wealth comes to those who actually work for it. You know, put in the time. You know, don't rush these things. You know.
You as I hate to say it, you got to be a little patient. Yeah. You know, you have to be patient. You got to let it come to you, but you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, like if you wake up in the morning, you don't have a plan, your day's gonna suck.
Give yourself some goals for the day. Yeah, get stuff done.
And find a mentor, find somebody who you can listen to. And if it's a podcast where you're going to work or somebody you're listening to, somebody who knows what they're talking about, not these little Facebook, Snapchat gurus.
All right. On that note, we're gonna end this. Everybody, stay tuned for the next episode. All right.
Next episode.
All right. We're done.
All right. Take care.